all this, COVID stuff happening, how businesses are transforming, businesses are closing down, new opportunities are coming up, different things like that. Where do you guys kind of see things moving, and what is one of your predictions where you're like, oh yeah, this is going to be a big thing in the next like 2 to 3 years, depending on how this whole COVID thing rolls out?
Well, I can tell you the easy, obvious one up front is the digital transformation is no longer optional, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you are not in the digital space today, you do not exist. With brick and mortar locations, you weren't able to be open, and if you didn't have a digital and those that did have a digital presence actually have survived or have been able to weather this a lot more effectively. And a lot of them are having to make pivots and really make changes to their business model. And it's those, you cannot continue to sell typewriters in a digital world. You have to do an inventory of what you currently have and how you can serve. And I hate to overuse the cliche of like the new normal after COVID, but it's true. A lot of businesses, the early data is showing a lot of these businesses, particularly those in retail, food and beverage, health and fitness and whatnot, they're not coming back. They're not going to be able to reopen their doors. So when the world reopens, what is it going to look like? And I think that digital transformation is first and foremost. If you don't live in the digital space, you don't live.
Yeah. Yeah.
In Tampa, we have a really good local brewery scene here. There's tons. I mean, it's taken off in the last 5-7 years, something like that. But with all this, a lot of them had to shut down. Or they had to change, and we kind of talk about pivot like Ross from Friends. Right. They pivoted and they started getting into the hand sanitizer. A lot of them have done that, and I think that's one example how businesses who will make this on the other side, or at least they'll be able to do this to hold out long enough before they can start selling their product. Because let's face it, alcohol sales, is recession proof, except when you are forced to shut down. Outside of that, that's something that will always be around. So if your local city, county government has a mandate and they're shut down, then what do you do? And I think those are the ones that will be able to hold off. And when things get open again, then they'll be back making their revenue like they were before. So that to me is just one example of how we're going to see this. You have to think cliche, think outside the box. What can you do to survive? And you do it because you have to. And you have to go back and whiteboard it and see, okay, let's take a look, step back, let's brainstorm, let's whiteboard all of this. What do we have? What's at our disposal? What can we do? If you're a restaurant, we talk about, the content creation. Create videos. Hey, here at, XYZ, this is how we make our pizza. Here's all the ingredients that we use, and go through it, create content that way. Now, is that going to be direct revenue? No. But if you're shut down, but your kitchen is open and you can do takeout orders and deliveries, and you never were doing it online before, now you can. Now all of a sudden you have a contract with Uber Eats or Grubhub or something like that, so that they can do the deliveries. That would be another example of that digital transformation and getting people aware, showing them all the ingredients. And here's one thing I'm never worried about is giving people all the ingredients to do something. Our ingredients are marketing. We go through and say, here's how you create a marketing campaign. I'm not going to charge you for that because, if you ever tried to cook a recipe, you buy a cookbook and you try to do it. If you're not a professional chef, it's not going to taste like any of those chefs you see on the Food Network, anything like that, right? You can make it. People will always go back and, to that restaurant when they can. I think the same thing's here. Give away the ingredients. That doesn't mean they're still not going to come to you, for it. And if they never do, you still build your brand awareness. You're still going to be locked in their head. They're still going to think about you down the road. It might not be instant gratification that you're going to get a sale from that person, but they will remember you when the time is right for them. So I agree, Chris, 100%. Digital transformation, you're forced to do it now. You have to figure it out. Where there's a will, there's a way. And the biggest thing, I'm a big fan of Marie Forleo, and she came out with a book, I think it was early in 2020, and her book is Everything is Figure-outable. And it's such a great motto to live by. And businesses have to figure it out. There's a way. You just have to, figure it out. So that is the biggest thing. I agree with Chris on that.
I 100% agree. I love that. I love that saying because that's literally how I work. Throw me in the jungle and I'll work it out and I'll figure it out and get to that point.